Now let me pull up the weekly outline 11. We are going to follow that. And here it is. So we did quite a few like those, but also we did several extra drill exercise. So let me start with example 4, and then we'll do a couple of warm up. Okay, so log on to Oracle. Let's see, Oracle is this one. Oops. All right, let's log on. So first of all, let me post this question here, copy that, paste. Okay, so question example 4, find all employees who were hired before Ward and after Smith. Okay, and then I told you that there's 2 dash means comment, right? So basically, that will not be part of SQL statements. So it's just a way to make a remark inside SQL script. Okay, so we want to find the employees hired before Ward and after Smith. Apparently, the first part is easy. Just find out, select name, right, and maybe hire date. Okay, and then from EMP. But what is difficult part is that we don't know hire date for Ward and Smith. So that is what. So we need to make sure that the hire date is before Ward. So that means less than Ward's hire date. So let me just put a question mark here. Okay. And hire date is less than, is after, it means greater than another question mark. Okay. So now we're going to use subquery to replace those question marks. The first one is the Ward's the hire date for Ward. Okay, so we're going to just do select hire date from EMP where ename equals to Ward, and then close it. So that's one subquery. And then we need to have another subquery to find the Smith hire date. So replace that with parentheses first, and then just inside, I'm going to type subquery hire date for EMP where ename equals to Smith. Okay. And then before that, you put those characters inside a single quote. So this is kind of like saying if you learn the C# is only if you have individual characters, you put inside a single quote. For text, you're going to put a double quote. But that's pretty common for like Microsoft databases, Microsoft technology. But here for Oracle and also for standard SQL, you're going to put a single quote around the word, around the text. Okay, so that is solution to that question. Okay, so we find one person for that who did that. And we have another way to do this. So basically saying that we have hire date is after Smith and before Ward. So in other words, we want to make sure that hire date is between this one and this one, right? So we can use something like a between instead of using less than and greater than. So we can have another solution to the same problem for EMP. And then we say, well, hire date, and then we say between. Okay, so when you use a between, make sure you use small number first and a larger number next. So between these 2 days, which one is smaller? So you want to be bigger than that and less than that, or apparently this is a bigger one and this is less than 1, right? So you're going to copy. I'm going to just copy here. So you're going to use a smaller one first between that and larger one next. So I'm going to copy this one next. Okay. So this is another way to, instead of using two, instead of using like a less than, greater than, and then connected by and. So this is between operator can do the same thing. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, this time we get a different solution. So, okay, it's a between because actually will be including Smith and also Word. So that, okay, it's a between. So that's basically include Smith and also Word. So this solution is slightly different, actually. Okay, so if I change this to greater than or equal to, that would be same. Okay, so for example, if this is less than or equal to, and then this is greater than or equal to, yeah, and then you'll get the same result. Like that. Okay, so if you use less than, that basically will not be the same. All right, now let me do one more. Two more big example along this line. So this time, let's say find employees in the same hired in the same year as Smith. Okay. So we use Smith a lot, but just, you can replace that with anything, right? So just idea of practice and subqueries. So here we find employees, and then we need to find out what is Smith's hire year, right? So that is what we need looking for. So this time we are going to use ename, right? And then let's see, from emp, and then we need to use hire year to search, right? So we have to use two char maybe, okay, two char to get a year number, and then hire date, and then say y. Okay, and the hire year is equal to something which is unknown. Okay, so we need to find out what is Smith's hire year. So I will replace that question mark with a subquery. Okay. So the subquery will be select two char. Okay, two char, and hire date. Then y again. Okay, from emp, and then say where ename is equal to Smith. So if you're behind, okay, you can ask me to slow down. Otherwise, assuming that this is kind of just like a review. Okay, so like that, and so this will get Smith's hire year, and as long as the employee's hire year same step, then you are fine. So that's how we get that question. Okay. Actually, just Smith himself. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Now let's do one more. So this time, let's say I want to find employees hired in the same location. As Smith. Okay, so location. Apparently, we need to use another table, that is a DEPT table, to create a join to be able to find to use location. So we'll say select ename from. So we're going to join two tables. Join DEPT DEPT number. DEPT number equals to emp.dpt number. Okay. And then only after that, we can say where location is equal to. So we're trying to find the location for Smith, right? So we'll do the same, pretty much the same join again. Select location from where? DPD in join emp. Is somebody trying to get in and get out constantly? Okay, select location, the inner join, and then on which one? DPD, the DPD number equals to emp.dept number. Okay, so that's just create a join, and then we say where ename equals to this. Okay. There we go, and so that basically give you the same location thing. All right. Okay. So those are the warm-up. Basically, we learn how to use subquery to find unknowns. And next, I'm going to do next level. Sometimes the criteria to say, what is unknown, how do you link this unknown may not be very clear, may not be apparent, obvious. Okay. So let me see. Let's come back to the example here. So we did example 4. Example 5, I'm going to postpone that a little bit. And 6, I'm going to postpone that a little bit also. So I'm going to do 7 first. Okay, do 7. So here, find the employee supervised by Blake. Find the employees supervised by Blake. So now let's see, how can we, what we're looking for? Supervised by Blake, how can we tell? Let me just look at the entire table again, so you can see how can we see which, so manually at least, so how do we know that which employee is supervised by Blake, right? So only through that, we see that how do we make, how do we link what is, what I'm looking for. So we're looking for employees, right? And then what? Then supervised by Blake. So how do we say that is supervised by Blake? So let me just run this query, see what is the entire table here. So who is supervised by Blake? Can you tell? Blake. So let's find out Blake first, okay? Blake is not in here. Let me try to make this table extended. So Blake, where's Blake? Blake is here. Okay, so Blake is the manager. All right. Now can you tell who is supervised by Blake? So Blake has like a 7698 employee ID. 7698 right here, right here. Those employees are supervised by Blake. You see that? You see that? Okay. So basically, what I'm looking for is you want to find those employees whose manager number. The manager number is same as Blake's employee number. Make sense? So because employee number is duplicated inside the same table as a foreign key, that becomes a manager number. So that's how the primary key foreign key are related. So now let me start write the query here. Select name from emp. Okay, and then say well what? I want to find the employee that we are looking for. Was the manager number equals to unknown. What is unknown? Blake's employee number. So we need to use subquery to find that. Select, okay, select emp number from emp. Well, ename equals to Blake. Look at that. Okay, so what is different from previous ones? Pretty much similar, but just this time we just need to make sure that what are we looking for, okay? So what are we looking for is, first of all, we don't know anything about Blake, all right? And then for the employee we're looking for, I want to find the employee who's supervised by Blake. So we need to find out that whose manager is Blake, right? So how do we tell? Well, if the manager number is same as Blake's employee number, then that is how we can tell, okay? So let's run that. So we should be able to get all those employees supervised by Blake in this way. Okay, now let's do something similar to that. And so so this type of questions sometimes the linkage is not very clear. Okay, so let's do example 8. Okay, let's do question mark. So find the employees located in Dallas. I think you probably already know how to do that by just using some kind of like implicit like a equal join or explicit join. You can do that, but now we want to do that using subqueries. Okay, so let me show you the if you use join, this is what it will do, right? So for like ename from, and then do the join first, and inner join emp okay, and then after that the pt number actually the pt. Okay. And then you say location equals to dollars. Okay. Right, so that will give you basically just that would be correct also. Okay, but instead of using join, we can also use subquery to do it. So now let's see how do we do that. Okay, let's say I want to find a ename, right, from emp. Okay, and then the question is, how do I link that employee with the location? Well, we have to look at that through employee's department number, right? The department is located in dollars because that we can tell from department table. So we have to make sure that the DEPT number is equal to, and equal to what? Equals to department number for dollars. So select DEPT number from DEPT where location equals to dollars. Okay. So that would be an alternative solution to that. Okay, so let's run that. You will get correct result, same result as previous one, of course. And there's one caveat for this one. Okay, what if in dollars you have several departments? What if in dollars you have several departments? Instead of just department, whatever, department 10 or department 20, maybe there are several departments, they have different department numbers are located in dollars. So if that is the case, then you are going to have trouble. What's trouble? So you're trying to compare one single department number with a list of department numbers. Does that make sense? So you're essentially trying to do something like this. Okay, let me just give you an example using whiteboard. Okay. So essentially, you're trying to do something like that. You say you want to check, say, whether department 20 is equal to something like a department 10, department 30, department 20, like a list. And this kind of equation, of course, will never hold, right? Cannot be held in any case, because on one hand, you have just one single value. On the other hand, you have like two list of values. So a single value cannot be equal to the list of values. Make sense? So only if you have just say 20, and then you have only single value like 20, you can just evaluate that, and that's verifiable. But this is not verifiable, right? Not verifiable. But this is verifiable. Okay, or 20 equals to 20, that is also verifiable. So if you compare individual value with individual value, that will become verifiable. But if you compare individual value, one value with a list of values, that becomes not verifiable. Okay, so how do we solve that problem? So what we could do in this case is, instead of using equal to, we can use another operator called in. So I think we did that in earlier classes when we do like constraints. Say we say the value is in the list, right? So this is the same operator we can use. Okay, so we can check that whether this department number is in this list. Then all of a sudden this becomes verifiable. So if we want to check whether department 20 is in this list, then that becomes verifiable. Okay, so that's verifiable, right? And even though you have only single value, like just say whether 20 is in the list of this single value, or maybe 30, that is still verifiable because you want to check, say whether this list is inside this list, even though the list has only one number. Okay, so in general, if you have just like a equal to, trying to do equal to here instead of equal to, you can always use in instead of just equal to. Okay, so let me comment this line out. Okay, use in instead of equal sign. Okay, so that would be better to use in instead of equal. Okay, and we are getting to something like
Why is it better to use in instead of equals?
Because the equal will just be restricted to comparing one value with this subquery. If subquery give you only one value, that would be fine. But if a subquery give you a list of values, then this equal will not work. Okay. However, use in, you can do both. If you use in, okay, if this subquery give you only one value, then this is still valid. But if this subquery give you a list of values, you can still use in. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So in general, if you have equal to, you can just use in instead. Okay. All right. So let's say I think we should get the same answer as previous one. Okay, run that, and then if you run that, you should get the same answer. Okay. And then if I ask you which query is better between these two, well, they give you the same result, right? Theoretically, they are identical. However, this subquery actually is more efficient than this join. Okay, this join is, even though it's explicit join, is much faster than equal join, because equal join you have to construct like outer join first, and but this join is still not as efficient as this subqueries. Okay, does it make sense? Now let me try to do one question along the same line. That is, let's say I want to find the department that has no employees. Okay, has no employees. Well, it is tempting. It is a pet. You might want to say, well, we did something like that. We say find the department that have how many employees, right? So we have to say no employees, because the count number of employees is 0. Okay, so if we do that, that will be something like that. Okay, so select the PT number from EMP. Who is doing all this? Come in, come out. Who is that? Does somebody have technical problem? Okay, now, so let's come back to here. So let's say we want to find employees, find a department that have no employees, right? So you probably say, well, what if I just group by, use statistics, right? Let's group by the PT number, and then say heaven count of number of employees is equal to 0. Okay, number of employees equal to 0. And then if you run this, it will give you no result. If I run this, you will get a no result. Can somebody tell me why this is the case? So any department that has no employees. Trying to see who has technical trouble here. Okay. Somebody's internet is making like a chopping connections.
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
Example 7 in the where clause, it says where MGR equals select EMP number.
Yeah.
Why is that not MGR equals select MGR? Why is it EMP number?
Okay. Do you say how can you tell somebody who's supervised by Blake? How can you tell that somebody is supervised by Blake? So it means that employees they're looking for whose manager is Blake.
Yeah. I just
So,
didn't understand, like, in most of the other where clauses, the like where and then the column name matches up with inside the subquery.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell you that. So for those type of queries, that connections may not be that obvious. For example, this one location equals location, right?
Right.
And this year equals to year, but for this one it's not because you're looking for employee supervised by Blake. Supervised by Blake, so you want to tell that those employees whose manager is Blake, right? So how can you tell that somebody has a manager as a Blake? Well, that person's manager number is same as a Blake's employee number. Okay, so this is sort of like a next level. You know, it's not the subquery, the unknowns. It's not very immediately clear what you're looking for. Okay, just like a next question, like say you want to find an employee who are located in Dallas. Okay, so what are you looking for? You want to use this department number to link that, to link to location, right? So it's not clear that you are using something that is department number, where in this case department number equals department number. But unfortunately, it's not location equals to location, okay? Because employee table does not have location. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me why this one will not give you a result? So I want to find out that the department has no employees. Okay, so I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to say, sort department number and then group by department number. Put employees into the different.
All of their friends in the media.
What?
I accidentally unmuted, sorry.
Okay. So why this will not give you a result is just because if you look at the employee table, because we're looking employee table, right? And then you're trying to look for those departments, and then trying to see whether the department has no zero employee. And as long as you have employee in the employee table, that department cannot have zero employee. Does that make sense? Because the department has to have at least one employee in there. Okay, so because we are restricted to employee table, okay, and then as long as you have employee with department number in there, then that department cannot have zero employee, right?
So would it return a result if you joined EMP and the EPT table?
You do need to have somehow to join this table, but somebody using inner join will not solve the problem here, because inner join basically you will still matching departments with employees. So as long as that there's a matching, for example, the employee has a matching department, and that record will be retrieved. But without if there's no matching, the record will not be retrieved. Okay, but I think you're thinking along the right line. That basically somehow we need to find out the department that has no employees. So basically, we may need to use department table to find out the departments first. So I will do that. EPT number, okay, from the EPT, okay, and then we want to say that this department number does not have employees, so that means that the department, the department number is not present in the employee table. So we'll say DEPT number not in, okay, not in. So we'll say select DEPT number from EMP. So that will give you the right solution. Does that make sense? So apparently one that the obvious one is not the correct one, but this is the right one. So we're looking for the department, okay, as long as the department number does not appear, does not show up in the employee table, it means that that department does not have employees, right? Okay. So again, this is a third example to demonstrate that sometimes the subquery may not be immediately clear, may not be immediately like previous ones. Okay, so those three examples demonstrated that. So of course, we are, that's what we are doing, right? So if everything as simple as these ones, the previous ones, you really don't need to be in this class because I can program the computer to do it, right? So programming, sometimes you have to find, like a smart strategy, smart way of solving the problem. Okay, so that cannot be replaced by computer. All right, so let's run that, and then we'll be able to see that who has no employees. No. Nobody? Interesting. So basically, in this case, we have every department. So if you run it, I think you probably have a different solution. But in my case, select DEPT number from EMP, DEPT number not in this. And I should, I don't know, maybe I have all departments have employees. But in your case, you should have some department. I think there's one department called the production department. Production one does not have employees. Okay, but the idea is correct, right? So basically, we're looking for the department table, and then as long as the department number is not in this list, not in the department or the department. So let me double check here. Select DEPT number from DEPT. So that will give you all the possible department numbers. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. And then what about the next one? Select DEPT number from EMP. Okay, so let's say, well, you know what? We do have we do have everything here, right? 1, 10, 20, 30. There's no 40. Do we have 40 in here? 50 is here. 40 is here, okay? So that means what happened this one? This one is actually because we have like these two garbage column here. So let me get rid of these two rows. Delete from EMP where DEPT number is null. Okay, I think I inserted that caused the trouble here. Two rows deleted, and now let's run this query again. So we have department 40 found. So this was previously because there's two extra nonsense rows we did when we do insert statement. So that was causing the problem. All right, so here, so this is a third example demonstrating how we handle, not obvious connections between a column that you're looking for and unknown that is to be replaced by subqueries. Okay. Does anybody have questions? Any questions? So if not, I'm going to move to still next level. Still next level. So still next level will be something. So far we are using all subqueries. We are using just like a regular simple SQL statement of using individual records to do as subqueries. But we can also use group functions, statistics, as unknowns. So use stat as stat for unknowns. Okay, so that is what we are going to do next. Okay, first, let's say I want to find employees who make more than everybody in every salesman, okay? Then every salesman. Okay, so idea here is that we want to find out the employees whose salary is more than all salesmen's salary, right? So let's try to do the main query first. We need to find the employee name, or maybe salary from MP, and then say, well, salary is bigger than what? Question mark. So the question mark is, what is everybody's salary? What is everybody, all salesman's salary? So we can find that easily. We just replace that by a subquery here. Okay, so then we say select cell from EMP, where job is equal to salesman. Okay, and then we select select. Okay, select cell. So basically, this subquery will give you all salesman salary, but now this is just one single person salary. So now you have the same problem as what we talked about before. You're comparing this. So what you're trying to do is this. You're trying to say whether, or somebody's salary is 1,000, and you want to make sure, you want to compare that to say whether that one is bigger than or the least. Okay, let's say this 800, this 1,000, this 1,500, or maybe this 700. Okay, so you're comparing one value with a list, and again, this is not verifiable. Still not verifiable because you're comparing one value with a list using greater than sign, equal sign, or less than sign, and that the comparison cannot be made. Okay, so how can we solve this problem? Well, we can do this. We have two ways to solve this problem. First approach is we can put like some kind of like a word, like a keyword like all or any or some in front of the list. So if you say greater than equal to all of that, that means you compare this value with every value in here. Okay. Or if you say any, you will compare this value with any of this value, or some value will be similar. Okay. So one solution for this question is that we can just put all in front of it. Okay. Put all in front of that to just make sure that this salary is greater than all of this. So that would be just kind of like a solution to this problem. So we say if I find employees who make up more than every salesman, right? So that would be the way to solve the problem. Okay, and this is solution one. What about solution two? Solution two is we can find the maximum salary for all salesmen and then compare this salary with the max. And that will be a different way to solve the same problem. Okay, well, and then we say cell is greater than, and then the subquery we're trying to find is what is the maximum salary for all salesmen. As long as this salary is bigger than the maximum, then of course the question will be answered, right? Find employees who make more than every salesman. Does that make sense? So we can do that here. So we'll do select max of cell. Who is making all this noise? Stephanie, are you okay? Stephanie, are you okay? Can you hear me, Stephanie? I think it's probably your computer is just coming in and out constantly.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi just went out, but I got it back to working, so I'm good now. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay. All right. So now let's come back. So we're trying to find all salesmen's maximum salary from EMP, and where job is equal to salesman. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So now let's run that, and then that will give you the exactly same result, of course. Okay. So you said that we have two solutions to this kind of problem. So we can use either statistics, use group functions. Okay. And we can also use this, find the list, and then we put all or any or some in front of it. All means that you compare the value with everyone. Any just means that compare with some values, not all values. Okay. So now let me try to use this as a template, and then I want you to do a couple of example exercise. So the next one I want you to find is find employees, okay, who was hired after all salesmen. Okay, do that quickly. I think there are at least 2 people missing today. Double check. Chris is not here, but there's one more person. Is Andrew here? Andrew Charles? Andrew Charles is not in here, but he checked attendance. Right? Andrew, are you there? Okay.
I think he was here earlier because I think that his was the one that was going out of connection like mine was. And I think that his connection must have just completely down. He just left. But he was in here. His was the one that kept beeping earlier.
Oh, I see. He was here. He was making the noise. I see. All right. Thank you. Okay. Have you done that? So let's say if we do it here, so basically we are trying to find employees that hire date from EMP, and then we are hire date, and so we can just use first solution, that is after hired after, that means greater than, equal to or. Okay, select hire date from EMP, where job is equal to salesman. Okay, so that would be the way to solve that problem. Or you can replace this or instead of that, and then put a max hire date. Max hire date, and that would be second way to solve the problem. Okay. And now let's do one more drill along this line. So this time, let's say I want to find employees, okay, who makes less than everybody in dollars. Makes less than everybody in dollars. Okay, so let's say we, of course, we are going to use, we have to use a join, right? In order to find out what is salary made by dollars. So we'll do select name from EMP, where cell is less than everybody in dollars. So what we could do is we could use all here. Let's just do that first. Select cell from. So we are going to join, okay? Join DEPT in or join EMP equals to EMP.DEPT number. Okay. And then we said, well, location is equal to dollars. Okay. So that will give you all salary for people in dollars, right? The subquery. And then we say less than all of that. Okay. That will give you the solution. Or we, instead of using this all, we can use statistic function. So which one we should use? Less than all of that, and then we basically, as long as it's smaller than minimum of that, right? Smaller than minimum of the salary for top people in dollars, then that should be equivalent to less than all, right? So we can do that too. Nobody? That's interesting. It's possible because we don't have anybody who has salary less than everybody in dollars, maybe. Okay. All right, and now let's still use statistics to do one more, and then we switch to another next type of query. We'll go back to examples, and then we pick up next example. So this time, let's say I want to find out employees, find employees who make more than the average of average salary of the entire company. So that should be easy one, right? Okay, try to do that yourself first. So we'll find the employees who make more than average salary of the entire company. So what is that's unknown is the average salary for the entire company, right? Do that quickly. Got it? So let's say if I do it together here, so that would be select E name from EMP, and then where we say salary is bigger than, more than, right? Bigger than average salary. So average salary, we're going to use subquery to do that. Select AVG of cell from EMP. So far, I should be very comfortable with these basic static functions. So those are the employees who make more than that. So if I put salaries also in here, along with the names, then we can tell that those employees who make more than average. Okay. So you see that nowadays we talk about big data analytics, and on the one hand, we have a lot of data in transaction database, and before this transaction database are moved to data warehouse, the managers may or executive may want to really know some kind of like ongoing data, ongoing trends. So this kind of a query will be very helpful for them. Okay. So without writing complicated code, you can use these simple SQL statements to find result for your executive, for your manager, right? So that will help them to make decisions much faster than after data have been cleansed and put into data warehouse, and then it takes so long. Then after that, maybe the time and the opportunity may have been already passed. Okay, for some kind of a promotion or whatever. Okay, so now let's coming back to examples. And I said we'll skip example 5 and 6, and now let's do 5 and 6, okay? So this example is trying to find job titles that have maximum salary or maximum average salary for the job. So this kind of question is very, it's not very easy, not very clear. It's not easy, okay? So this probably for this week, this type of query will be the most difficult, okay? So let's analyze this question. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the job title, okay? So this, what kind of job? The job title has a maximum average salary. So in other words, we want to find the job title whose average salary is more than or equal to the maximum of all the maximum average salaries. Okay, so if we're trying to split this, if I try to find out using basic statistics, we already know we're trying to find out what is average salary for the jobs. What is average salary for all the jobs? That would be easy one, right? So let's say select job, and then AVG of cell from EMP, and then we group by job, right? So basically we put those employees into different job titles, job categories, and then we find the average salaries. So if we do that, we'll be able to find, the job title and the associated average salaries, right? So for this list, you can tell that this job, the president, has the highest average salary, right? Highest average salary. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the job title that have highest average salary. That makes sense? So how do we solve this problem? So let's just start with the main query, and then we'll do step by step. Okay, select job, that's what we're looking for, from EMP, okay? And we need a group by job. We need a group by job. Why? Because we are using average salaries in this case, right? Use average salary for the jobs. So we are going to say group by job, okay? And how do we select those jobs? How do we select these jobs? So this, remember, this like a factor analysis, select factor levels, because you're trying to look at certain factors, do factor analysis. Each factor has different levels, and then each level corresponds to different statistics, and then use that statistic to find the factor level here. So we're using having here. Okay, say having average salary. Average salary is what? Is the greatest. So it's a max. It's a max. How do we say this is a max? How do we say this is a max? We cannot write code like this, okay? So I do have sometimes students, trying to do query like this in the exam or homework, they try to write something like this. This will not work, okay? Because this is not clear. What is the max? What does it mean by max, okay? Oracle is not clear. Max of what? It's not clear, right? So what we could do is we will replace that by subqueries, okay? Subqueries, and then we do trying to find average salary for all jobs. AVG of cell from EMP, and then group by job, okay? Group by job. And so we should make sure that this is greater than or equal to all of those, right? Greater than or equal to all of that. Okay, group by job, okay? And then again, we have a problem here. So for each job, you have one average salary, right? Here inside the subquery, you're going to get a list of average salaries. List of average salaries like this list. Okay, 1047, 1400, 5000. So you're going to have a list of these average salaries, okay? So what you need to make sure that is the salary, average salary you're looking for is greater than or equal to all of that. So that would be equivalent to saying that the job you're looking for has average salary is bigger than or equal to all of them. So the average salary is the maximum of average salaries, okay? So let me run that. And then you'll be able to find a president who has maximum average salary. Okay, now it's tempting for some people to do this also. So can I use max and average together like this? The answer is no. You cannot put statistic functions over statistic functions. Okay, and that is not allowed. There's no such thing. Okay, you can use statistic functions applied to a column, but you cannot use statistic functions over other statistic functions, other statistics. Okay, and to do that, actually, is getting more complicated. So you basically so you cannot do that. Okay, so you have to. So in this case, you have only one solution. That is, you have to use or like that. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, so now let's do a couple of drill. And this time, let's say I want to find the department. Find the department. Okay, that has most employees. That has largest number of employees. Okay, find department that have largest number of employees. You see that all these questions are very meaningful ones. Okay, so which department has largest number of employees? So basically, it's just employee count, right? So you say the employee count for the department is largest than all other counts. Okay, try to do that yourself. I'll give you 2 minutes to finish. Are you done? So let's say if I want to use department number, I will just simply say DEPT number. We can also do department name. We can do that next. Okay, from EMP, and then we do group. Since we are using statistics, so we have to do group by department number first, and then say heaven, and then count. The count number of employees is greater than or equal to all, so that means largest. Then we do just simply get a number of employees for each department. So that one should be very comfortable now. From EMP, and then group by EPT number, right? Okay, so if you run that, you just get a department 30, which has most employees. Okay, and the next, find the year in which the company hired most employees. Find a year in which the company hired the most employees. So means we are counting number of employees hired by each year, and then we're trying to find a year that has more than other years, right? Okay, so again, I will give you 2 minutes. You start to work on that. So select your number, select to child, did that before. Okay, from Yankee. Then we do group by to child again. Okay. Okay, and then we say heaven. So heaven count, basically the same thing as before. The count is greater than or equal to all. So we have to say use equal to this equal because in the list the count this count will be inside one of the items in the list, right? So it has to be equal to one of these because we're trying to find the year, you know, the count is in the list but also is greater than others. Okay. Okay. Select. Then we do count from EMP, and then group by to child. Okay. Okay, so if you think of this question is difficult, just trying to do simple ones first. So we want to find the company has the most employees, number of employees, right? So have to find, say, can we find the number of employees hired each year? Find that first, okay? So that will give you this kind of subquery to begin with, okay? Find number of employees hired each year, right? And then from that, you will be able to realize that, you know, I need to find a particular year such that, you know, the count is greater than or equal to that, okay? So that will give you, just give you like a, let's just give you a tip on how to solve this kind of questions. Okay, so 1981 is the one. Okay, and now let's do example number 6. And that should be also simple. So this time we find the departments that have largest total salary among all departments. Largest total salary. So total salary is a sum of the salaries, right? So now we are using sum of salary to select the departments. Okay, again, give you 2 minutes, you finish that. Do you get it? Do you get it? Okay, let's work together here. So let's say I want to find the department, so we can use department number. We can also use the department name. In that case, we will have the join. So employee. Now we do group by the PT number, and then we say have then sum of total salary. Sum is greater than having largest, right? Largest means greater than or equal to all. So here we're trying to find total salary for each department. And group by the PD number. Okay. So the sum of salary is greater than or equal to list of all this, then that department is looking for. So if you want to use department name, you can do so too, but just use join dname from. I will just do emp in join dept. Okay, and then and then we say group, we still need a group by dname, and say heaven, and then we do sum of the salary. Okay, is greater than, equal to all again. So here we're trying to find total salary for each job, for each department, but for each department label, each group label is department name. Okay, so select sum of the salaries from. So we still need to join again. So emp in join in dpt. The PD number. Okay. And then group by dname. So only after the join, then you will be able to group by department names. Okay. So that will give you the same. That will give you the same result. All right. I think I should stop here. Let me just pause for a second and see whether anybody have questions. Let me run this first. Make sure it's working. Nobody. There should be nobody. Let me see. There should have some department with some. That's not right. Why? Greater than or equal to all. So that does not make sense. I'm trying to see what's going on here. Oh, I think I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Was select some of that. So the SQL probably is not okay. The semicolon is missing. I know what's happening because the have employees does not have a salary. So you have no salary here. Okay. So let me try to see which employee does not have a salary to begin with. And I fix that first. Okay, so I have what's the salary column here? I think there's one employee does not have salary, which is clerk, Lisa. Okay, so I think that we need what we can do is we can use MVL function to solve that problem. So I can just do sum of the salary. So put MVL inside, and then if salary is missing, then I will just change that to 0. Okay. So I will do the same thing here for salary. I'm going to change to MVL. Okay, salary 0. Okay. So just in case of salary somebody have 0 salaries, then I will just change that to 0. Something is wrong again. So something not identified. Do you see anything wrong? MVL, sorry. MVL. Okay. So the research department has highest amount salary. So that's correct. And the same thing here. So this salary has a missing values. Then you change that to MVL cell, 0. And then we'll be able to work around the problems. Probably just in my case, I have somebody who have no salary. Okay, and let me see whether anybody have the questions. I'm going to stop recording here.